All right, let me make sure the mayor's not on to do introductions.
Recording it.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Good Friday evening. Again, we
Hello.
apologize for doing this on a Friday evening. If I can have everybody mute. And then what we can do is we can go through some of the presentation materials and then answer any of all of your questions after the presentation. But I know that we've been discussing this for quite some time. I think it was 2020 when we first started this endeavor. It's part of an HMGP grant. What is an HMGP grant? It's a hazard mitigation grant program. That's something that we submitted through Orange County in case there was a disaster that would happen in Central Florida. Then we had the hurricane. I forget which one it was because it's so long ago. And then we had this project approved, by town council. And then we sent it up to FEMA for approval. They approved it. We bid it out, came back we anticipated it being at $3 million. But when we got the bid back, it was around $5 million. And this project not only includes stormwater improvements, but it also includes potable water system improvements and road improvements. And so after we got the latest bid of the $5 million, we had to resubmit to FEMA for more monies. And this is a 25-75% match grant. So the town would have to put up 25% of the project costs to make these improvements. So I know John and I think Tanya and a lot of engineers have met with a lot of you all to go over what the initial impacts are going to be. But tonight's purpose is that this project is a go. It was approved by town council for the contract with the Cathcart. We do have Keith from Cathcart on here. We have John Fitzgibbon. We have Mike Galore, who did the design. We have Tanya Elliott Moore for a little bit. And I do believe I have Mandy David on here as well. Sorry, I'm trying to admin and do it at the same time. I'm trying to see if there's any more elected officials on right now. But anyway, let's get started. So the meeting purpose is to provide you an overview of the stormwater and roadway improvements. Again, nothing's changed since I think 2020 or 2021 when we met with everybody along the West 2nd Avenue project. And also doing the public input meetings and the in-person meetings that we've had. Explain how the improvements will impact the residents, discuss drainage solutions and runoff conveyance, and then answer any questions and address the concerns regarding the construction process. Now, we do have a couple of guest speakers tonight. It's going to be myself, then I'm going to turn it over to John, going to go over some overview, and then Mike Lure is on as well to go over any technical questions that you may have. And then after that, we have Keith. Sorry, is Keith still on?
Ryan.
Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah,
sorry, Ryan. Ryan with Cathcart. In order to go in, he's with Cathcart to make sure that if there's any questions relative to direct impacts to you, the timing, the MOT, stuff like that, we can go through that as well to make sure that you guys have all the information to make sure that, whatever impacts are going to happen are going to be lessened as much as we can. So with that, I'll turn it over to John.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. If you could go to the next slide. Obviously one of the most important things for us is having a project laydown yard that has the proper accessibility and a place for us to, as the materials for the project come in, they have an area for ease and distribution. The site at Palmer Park in the projected laydown area right now with Cathcart is centrally located to the project. So it gives us great accessibility to go both to the east and to the west from that location with the least amount of impact to the residents. We will have a lot of material and those kind of things being delivered. It's a very tight project, so we want to be able to have a place where we can lay it down and only bring in the material that we need for that specific day. So if you could go to the next slide, Robert.
And John, we've used this area for other projects, correct?
Yeah, we've actually used this location several times for other projects in the past. We used it for Pine Street. We've used it for the First Avenue project and a number of projects. So the laydown yard just seems, it's actually worked very, very well for us in the past. At the end of the project, it will be completely restored back by the contractor. So it appears that we're not haven't ever been there. We have fenced it off. Obviously, we want to provide protection for those people that are utilizing the park. So if you do a drive-by, you will see a fenced area that the contractor has kind of cordoned off, if you will. So overall project, it basically goes from the end of the cul-de-sac all the way to Main Street. This is kind of the area. We are doing improvements that include water infrastructure. It also includes all of the stormwater improvements for areas in low lying, and then major enhancements to the road itself with being able to control the runoff with gutters and actually all new pavement from the end of the cul-de-sac all the way to Main Street. Knowing that, you know, tonight was really a night for us to be able to talk to you all about our pre-construction before we get started and really just allowing you guys to understand the logistics of this. We've hired an unbelievable contractor I've worked with in the past. They're very user-friendly. They understand the nature of this business and they understand the nature of this project, that it's very tight. So there's a couple things that I know in talking to the residents over the last 2 to 3 years and actually walking the project, that there's probably 4 or 5 things that are important to you all. And so I would like to, at this time, kind of hit on those. Um, Obviously, mail and mailboxes are very important. They may need to be relocated and they may need to be adjusted temporarily. It's the intent of this project that when it's in the way of something, we will move it to another area so that you can still have all of your mail deliveries. And then when the project is over, they will place them in the proper location where they were at the beginning. We do have obviously water connections and meter boxes that will now be fed to your houses. Right now, our plans have selected a location that is just based on location for permitting process. But Ryan and I will be obviously working with you. We'll stake those locations based on the plans. And then we'll actually work with each of the individual residents along the road to determine the best location based on where your water comes into your house. So those can be adjusted and moved. We've already worked that deal out with Orange County. In addition to that, you may have already seen survey stakes that have been placed. The survey stakes that have been placed are really just defining the right of way and the property lines, not necessarily the extent to which the project will be. Those stakes will come along a little bit later as we go through our individual phases that Ryan will walk you through in a little bit, um, for you guys to understand the limitations of where the impacts are through the construction process. Um, I think that pretty much hits everything on any questions that people may have relative to the impacts to you personally. And then as Ryan goes through his phasing, you'll start to understand the timing of when we'll be in your area. And then I'm sure there'll be some massaging and other things that we may do with each of the individual residents within the areas that might be impacted during that phase. So if you could scroll down,
Yeah.
Robert.
Thanks, John. I mean, when we go through some of these slides, you'll see a lot of yellow and red. Those are the basins that we're looking at trying to relieve some of the flooding in the areas. We can get into some of the technical questions if you would like. But you know, most of the time when there's a construction project, especially one that's been going on for 5 years, we'll be more than happy to go through any technical questions. But the main purpose of this project is to take care of the stormwater, add potable water, and then the roadway to mill and resurface it, and then add curb and gutter to those. But it's going to be is it Miami curb, John?
Yeah, it'll be a slight V curve. Depending on where we are, it kind of changes a little bit, but for the most part, it's V curve. Yeah.
So you're looking at about 2 feet on each side. So right now, two cars can't pass each other. With this project, will be. It's not a two-lane roadway, but if there's a landscaping truck, you'll be able to pass it. If you're familiar with the uh, Pine and West Second Avenue project, you can see that's pretty much what it's going to look like at the end of the project. Or when you get down to Andrew McCarthy's property as well, that's exactly what it's going to look like once completed. Does anybody want us to go through the actual specifics of the design or technical questions?
No, did you say there was somebody else who's gonna present something? Because you answered a couple of questions, but I
Yeah.
just had a couple and I don't want to hold everybody up. They're not big questions.
Yeah, I think for us, we've included it in the package. So if you guys wanted to actually go back, it's located on the town's website. If you want to look at your specific area just to see, it's really just kind of, Tracy, just going back to remember what we talked about a couple of years ago.
I know.
Yeah,
It seems like
yeah.
forever.
So nothing has changed from what we've talked about. It's just
Okay.
coming to reality. So we just wanted to include that in the package for your reference more than anything.
Okay, may I you pretty much answered my whole mailbox question, so I'm good with that.
Okay.
The other thing is, as
Sprinklers.
far as I have sprinklers that look like they're in
The right of way.
the right of way. So how will that be handled?
So
Because,
Rick
you know,
Mitchell has put sprinklers in the town's property.
no, they were here when we moved in. We've been here for 23 years,
I'm just-
so,
So typically what we do
but
in
we
that-
make it look pretty with those sprinklers.
I know, and you do amazing. I think it's important. Yeah, so that's a great question. Typically what we will do, and I can let Ryan, expound on this a little bit, but what we'll do is if we do, one thing that we will ask you guys to do as we are coming through and you're starting to see the phasing plan, it's very helpful for us if you or your landscapers could tag and locate where your heads are.
Yeah.
And then as we come through, if they are damaged or they are, cut, typically what we'll do is we'll cap it. So that as you're watering the rest of your yard, you're not bleeding out into the project or into the right of way.
Okay.
After the fact, prior to our restoration, we just ask that you get your guys back and irrigate it the way that you want to be it irrigated. In most instances,
So we have to pay for that.
well,
No.
in most
Oh.
instances, if it's a small break or a small issue, we'll probably repair that,
Yeah,
If we know
okay, I
where
don't
the
think it'll
heads
be
are.
that big.
But if we know where the heads are, that really helps us understand, as we're digging, kind of where we're going. So I think it's
Okay.
imperative and important for you guys to flag those, so that we know. Obviously, anything in the right of way that you guys have put in there on your own accord is really the responsibility of the homeowner to repair, but we'll work with you on that.
Okay, so as far as, I don't want to miss the window to get it flagged, so will there be I'll know when you're coming, right? So I
Absolutely.
can get it done like a week before or something like that?
So
Yeah.
we'll
Okay.
just flag them. We'll flag them.
Okay,
They've got to cut them. They'll cap them off.
gotcha.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And
That's helpful. And go
This is a
ahead.
great segue into Ryan's presentation on phasing timeframes, so you guys know when we'll be coming down the area, and then also the MOT. So Ryan, if you want to go with phase one.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Like John and Robert were saying, this is our phase one, which is the far end of the road at the cul-de-sac. Our game plan here is to put in our storm drain and our water system concurrently, being of how tight that area is down there. So it would be to put our utilities in the red area. Once they're installed, we'll begin dropping back to that area and doing a full restoration of the entire area that we disturbed. Like John said, yes, sprinklers, having them marked will save a lot of time, and it'll save a lot of searching for us. When we know, if we know where they're at, we can cut them, get them out of the way, do our work, and put it all back the way it was. If there are any potted plants, things like that in the right of way that you want to remove, yes, that would help out as well. I do want to make sure everyone's aware that you will have full access to your residence throughout the whole duration of the project. You might have a small detour here and there, just as far as moving off the edge of the road, which would be a drivable surface. We wouldn't just leave it as grass, but you will be able to maintain your residence throughout the project. This phase one portion, we're anticipating plus or minus 100 days to complete the red area, with an anticipated start date of beginning of April. Phase 2, which is obviously the largest portion. That one we plan on starting as soon as the restoration is done in phase 1. This one is going to have 2 crews on it doing the storm and the water concurrently as well. Now, if it becomes an issue with landscaping and stuff like that, if we have to get to a middle point and stop and go back and begin restoration in some areas for landscaping, we can. But our game plan is to put everything in red in, then do the same, drop back, do a full restoration, get everything back the way it was before we continue to the next phase. The only part of this project that won't be fully completed at the time we're leaving phase 1 into phase 2 is the asphalt. We will have it up to final grade with a drivable surface across it, but as of right now, it's all going to be paved back at one time. The final phase is phase 3 up here, which is a lot of the tie-in portions. Now, this one doesn't necessarily have as much impact going down the road from end to end. It's more or less at the intersections. It'll be the same water line reconstruction, storm drainage being installed. This one, same as the last, we're going to go concurrently. So most of this area over here is a dirt road as it is, so it'll be a better drivable surface before when we're done until we do a final pavement. But this one's kind of going to be I wouldn't say a fill-in, but if we are able to, we plan on attacking it from both ends. But as of right now, that'll be the final phase, what you see on the screen now. The blue area here is what we are anticipating using for a temporary roadway. Obviously, you can see that pipe in the middle of the road. That is where your new storm French drain is going to be installed. Given the location of where it is, it's in the middle of the road. So we're going to have to expand that roadway, as you can see in that blue, so you guys can maintain access. You see it split there in another section. The reason we did that is that resident has a very nice landscaping and fencing we don't want to disturb, and we don't have to put any utilities in there. So we're better off just leaving it alone, and we'll transfer the traffic over.
All right, thank you. Now we're at the point of any technical questions or any questions you may have. I see a Rachel, or I guess it's Jeff Sokolsky.
Raise my hand.
Jeff? All right, we'll move to
Hello, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. I'm on my wife's cell phone in the hospital, so I apologize for the delay.
Geez.
Oh, sorry, man.
So, so I had a couple quick questions, and these relate to my side, and I apologize. I thought that this meeting was going to more focus on the east side of West 2nd, and all this meeting I've seen is at the west side, but for my side, I'm requesting the engineering drawings for 2nd Avenue from Main Street to Pine Street. And if you guys could even just direct me to those, and then even direct me to the pages, because I know that those, I've looked at a bunch of drainage documents before, and they're very hard to figure out which ones of this whole entire project would relate to my case. But also the drainage calculations for this basin, and particularly and you guys know me, you guys know this situation, and I am going to be following this along very closely to see how this affects tying into the Forest Street project, because
Yes, sir.
we've had several questions about how or if or how this will tie into Forest Street. And up to this point, even Mike Galera has been unable to tell us if the pipes are going to go from 2nd and connect into the Forest Street project.
Right. Jeff,
And
sorry to interrupt.
yeah, go ahead.
You're at the hospital, man. I'd be more than happy to set up a meeting just with us to go over your specific needs. I'm guessing you need to focus on something else right now.
Okay.
So, I mean, if that's okay, it's completely up to you. If you want to ask your questions now, that's fine, but, you know, I hate to put you through this when you're at the hospital, sir.
It's all right. I didn't mean to bring that into it, but I do have time right now, or
Okay.
you know, if we do set up another time, I think that the other meeting was scheduled for the 19th, which is spring break for a lot of people too. So I don't know if a lot of people are going to be able to get to the second meeting.
Yeah, we're scheduling a fourth meeting as well. So
Okay.
we'll have 4 meetings to go through. One's during spring break, and then one's gonna be the week after.
Okay. Well, yeah, let me hop off here then, and I appreciate everyone's time. And yeah, Robert, I'll follow up with you after this then. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just give me a text, man, and I'm sorry whatever you're going through, sir.
You got it. Okay. Thank
All
you.
right, thanks, Jeff.
Bye.
Who is iPhone 4?
I
Is it
think it's
me?
me.
Who's that? No, hold on, let me ask to unmute.
Are we on mute?
No.
No.
Okay.
There's somebody that has 2 comments. It was iPhone/4, so I've asked them to unmute to figure out who this is. Okay, well, let's go to Rick.
That's Tracy. Go.
Okay,
Ah,
okay,
Tracy.
so, you answered a lot of our questions. Thank you very much for that, for the time. But the one question I had was about the, you mentioned something about the, I guess, water and the gas. We're gonna be able to have a
Connection.
connection, and you said that you would figure out where that goes. So can you just give me like, I don't need a
Since
long
we're doing
answer.
meetings since COVID is over, is this a
No,
natural
there's
thing?
yes, it is, because some meetings people cannot make it in person, so click the link.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. So you know where we're at, Second and Forest. So
Yes,
we'll
ma'am.
get access to a water and is it gas too?
I can answer
is
it
it
for
just
Robert if you'd like.
water?
It's
sir.
just water, Tracy.
It's water. Okay, I didn't know. I'm just
Yeah,
asking.
we are running a water main. We're basically upgrading the water main from the cul-de-sac all the way to Main Street.
Okay,
And then we do have outposts at each of the residents where we'll set a pipe. It's obviously incumbent on you guys that if you choose to connect, that you would have to coordinate that with Orange County, get your meter set, get all that figured out. And then obviously you as residents would have to run it from the meter to your point of connection to your home.
thank you. That was the question I had. So you'll just
The-
figure out where the thing's gonna be and you'll let us know. So if we decide to hook up to it, all we gotta do is go through Orange County.
Correct. And the
Correct.
project does not include running gas to Rick's personal grill.
Yeah, he was
But-
really
but there
excited
is-
about
there
that.
is
I know, I
gas.
understand where he was going on that,
But
but
is there a gas line?
Yes,
there,
ma'am.
there is a gas line out
And
there.
you're not gonna do that too, since
No,
you
I'm
got the
not
road
running
tore
gas
up?
to Rick's grill.
No,
It's not for Rick.
there's an existing gas line along that route.
Good.
Can you guys hear me?
Feeding neighbors for decades, but
Okay,
I just want to say real quick to Robert and
I'm not done with my
John, you
questions.
guys have done a great job with this. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming, and just thank you.
Yes, thank you. I have one more
I know it ain't
question.
easy.
I'm sorry. Thank you, honey. And thank you guys. Really, just one thing is, I know you were talking, the one gentleman was talking about they weren't gonna disturb the road. You're gonna like divert the road and whatnot.
It's on the end of the
Um,
street.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, our fence that we paid a lot of money for is literally, about 8 feet. It's legit. We got it, it's our property line. Is that gonna get in the way? Do I need to worry about that?
No.
No, not if it's on your property line.
Okay, okay. And we'll have access to get in and out. I mean, it's a really small area. How I'm gonna
Yep.
get out of my driveway and stuff?
Yes, ma'am. That's the whole purpose of this meeting, was to work out logistics.
Okay,
So we're trying to figure out, okay, well, if there's any special needs, but we've already coordinated with utility companies, solid waste, the mail couriers, stuff like that. So there will be a little bit of disruption, but we're trying to minimize that as much as possible.
Yeah, we're flexible. Okay.
She's been concerned about our trees. Like we got good trees that are close. They're inside the blue lines that were painted and the flags. So I think they're safe. But one thing to possibly consider is any tree you're going to remove, maybe put like a, you know, a yellow ribbon around them to
So
give.
you have to pay us $750
No, they'll do
an
it.
inch.
They'll do it.
Yeah.
But just to give people a chance, like if you're going to take out a tree,
Ours are too ancient. We would not be able to remove them. We would not be able to replant them, but
if they're in the way, they're going to cut them.
And
Oh.
we've had an arborist go up and down this pathway to analyze any and all trees. And I think the tree impacts are going to be de minimis based on the design that we
Good.
have.
okay, good.
Good.
So if there is going to be any tree impacts, we'll definitely let the neighbors know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, y'all. Thank you. Have a great weekend. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much.
One other comment on that I think is important for Rick and Tracy, that if we are, you know, close to a tree and impact, we do have the arborist on board walking alongside us through this whole project. We'll do the proper root pruning prior to any potential impacts that we could have to heritage trees. So that's already in play, just so you guys know.
Oh, okay.
That's
That's great.
That's a good idea.
Great idea. You make a lot of people happy that way. Thank you very much, y'all. Appreciate it.
Heritage tree. I'm going to trademark that name.
Yes, sir.
All
Can you see
right.
the tree
Have a good
outside?
weekend. Thank you.
Tracy, can you see the tree outside of your window?
I see 4. I see
Oh.
6. Actually, I could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 8.
Yeah, they look pretty.
I got a lot of trees.
No
But-
worries.
But
All right, you
anyways,
guys enjoy.
thanks, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Hugh.
Hi. I think I've joined the meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, great. Yes, we live at 325. I was looking at the phases and how long they'll take, and it says phase 3 may be concurrently done with phase 1. So about 250, 300 days for the entire project estimated?
Ryan.
Yeah, yes, that is correct. I think it's actually for final with pavement and restoration a little longer,
Uh-huh.
but for the main disturbances, yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I have one more question. We have a very large pine in our front yard, and one day I found a plastic strip of red plastic nailed to the tree. Is that one maybe the arborist has a question about? Because we're not sure who nailed the strip of orange or red plastic to the base of the tree.
Yeah, that was definitely not us. We have
Oh,
not,
okay.
yeah, we have not done any tagging or any pre-assessment yet.
Okay, yeah, because 2 feet on my side, into the front yard is still a ways from the tree, but I didn't know if that meant it might be an issue because of the roots, but it's not your mark.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, okay, great. Those were my only questions. This has been very informative. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And if you have any other questions, I mean, you have Ryan, myself, John on here. You guys probably have our cell phones or contact information. And if you have any additional questions after tonight, again, we have 2 more meetings, but we're very accessible.
Okay, thank you.
And ma'am, the 325 address based on the plans, there's no utilities going directly in front of your house on your side of the road, so your tree should not be impacted.
Oh, okay, great. That's good to know. Appreciate that.
All right. Next question goes to Tony Clark.
We've got our hand.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hi, evening all. Hope you're all well.
Yes, sir.
It was just a couple of things, really. Obviously, there's about 5 or 6 properties, 5 or 6 properties that are down on Forest and First that are a little bit concerned with regard to the drainage as to how we may be impacted, because we're already getting flooded. Admittedly, it's particularly when hurricanes come, but there is a huge amount of water that comes down from 2nd Avenue. What consideration's been given to those properties on Forest and First?
John or Mike, you want to answer that question? I think this mirrors Jeff's question.
Yeah.
Well, the,
Hey, Tony, I think I've met you before. You're on the corner of First and Second Avenue, right there.
Gary Brunn's old house.
Oh, you're right
Oh,
here.
Gary Bruns, yeah. So
Am I circling it?
Sorry?
that's about right where well, actually one street over. He's on Gary Bruin's old house. Yeah, right there.
Forest and First.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest with you, it should not affect you at all, Tony. On what we're trying to do. The one thing that will happen is we should have a little bit of better water quality coming, but it will not affect your system at all.
Right. I was hoping it would affect it, but it would affect it positively.
Well, no, but I mean, it won't affect it in a negative way, but it will affect it in a positive way because we're actually now collecting water that's actually more controlled than it is uncontrolled.
Right. Right. And okay. I look forward to that happening then.
And you do know that we did some additional enhancements for the outfall to ensure that you and Sarah and Mr. Karsten and all that area had even more hedge of protection. And so hopefully you've seen that in the last couple of rain events, that a major improvement for you all as well.
Right. Good, good. And just on the whole thing on Second, was this something that was done with were all the residents sort of put to a vote as to whether they wanted this, or is this just something that's been deemed to be necessary for the water and for the drainage and one thing and another? Or was
I can take that question. No, it wasn't put up for a referendum. Most projects like this do not have to go to a referendum. The reason that this project was picked for a hazard mitigation grant program or LMS was to make sure that because this is a major spine from Main Street all the way to the point, so people can get in and out if there is an emergency. So we were able to leverage, 25% of $5 million to pay for this project. But for the HMGP grant, we would not be able to afford this project at all.
right? So okay.
It doesn't need to go to a vote.
No.
No, okay, that's all right.
And one point is too, is that, if you're in the Manors or if you're in, east side of Main Street, south side of Main Street, west side of Main Street, everybody has their issues on certain roadways. So if it goes to a referendum, they're probably going to vote, why them and not me? So we have to, use our best judgment and figure out what are the best ways to utilize taxpayer dollars. But no, this does not have to go to a vote.
Right. Okay. And then finally, just on, I'm hang on a second. Sorry, I'm obviously impacted by speeding vehicles quite a bit, and people on First are quite a bit. It's a bit frustrating. And I was just wondering if they're widening the road on Second. And I think that one of the houses Tim Cross used to live in, he reckoned he was losing about 9 feet off the front of his easement area. That brings the traffic closer to the house and potentially going faster. Are there any plans to try and make sure that traffic is calmed, for want of a better word, down that road now that it's going to be better paved and wider?
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. After the construction, we'll do traffic counts and also speed monitors. But you're only looking at 2 feet on the north and the south of each side, which is mostly just a curb or like a Miami curb. It's not that much distance.
Right. Okay.
Robert,
It's not like a two-lane highway.
Robert,
Right.
we're also adding traffic calming along Second Avenue with speed humps at set intervals.
Right. Great. Well, anything you can think of on First, we'd be extremely grateful.
Yes, sir.
Tony brings up a good point. We have seen so many people blowing the stop sign and speeding. So I'll call the chief on that, or Robert, I'll stay out of it if you want me to, but yeah. The people are getting a little out of hand on Second.
Yeah, Rick, this is Kathy. I would concur. I mean, we're seeing so much cut through on Dirt Main now to escape traffic on Main Street, and Second Avenue is where everybody goes. So
And
I'm concerned this is going to make it worse as
Yeah, I'll
well.
talk to
Tony.
Deputy Chief, and I mean, we could put a car out there and also traffic counts and a speed monitor.
Yeah.
I think it calms them down, you know, just to see the police out there, and
Yeah,
when
I
you give
agree.
some warnings or whatever, and there's construction on the street, and I ain't gonna blame those guys, but I'm just
No.
seeing people blowing through those stop signs. A lot of the kids, that Robert, you were very helpful in getting the stop signs put up that protected these kids. So they're all, you know, a little older now, but there's more kids coming in.
Yes, sir.
Good Lord, what if something happened bad?
Yeah. Well, I've asked for stop signs on First and Forest, and they've been declined. But I think what's important to say is that, and it'll happen on Second as well. We can't just blame Colger, Amazon, and DoorDash and all those poor people. There is a need for education for residents. I hate to say, it might make me unpopular, but there genuinely is a need for education with residents. You know, how quick do you want to get home is all I would say. But
Yeah, what's a minute count? Give me a break.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
but thank you very much. I appreciate everything you're doing. I really do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. All right. So we answered Hugh, we answered Mr. Clark, and now we have, is it Michael?
It's me.
Yes,
Hi.
sir.
Yeah, I'm the owner of the house on First Avenue and Butler Street, and I'm just concerned about the stormwater. Obviously, with you guys widening the road on Second, there's going to be a lot more stormwater coming down this end, and you know, I believe our stormwater system is not working too well down here. I believe it's all sorted up. So I don't know if there's going to be an added strain to our stormwater system down here and more runoff into the lake. Our neighbor Jeff, if I have a look at his dock, the earth area, there seems to be a lot of erosion that's happened lately. And I think he had a separate study done, and they came to the conclusion that the stormwater system is not working. So I don't know if that's looked into, if you guys are going to address our stormwater drain system, and if it does have worse, like if it does worse in our system, is there going to be a fix for it?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to construct anything that's going to make anything worse.
Yeah.
I believe we had Kimley Horn Associates do a peer study on the impacts to First and Forest, and then there wasn't anything additional. And then with
Okay.
Jeff in his situation, again, you know, if we were in violation of anything, or if we were doing anything that was a nuisance or trespass on anybody's property, we'll definitely take a look at it.
No, I'm not worried about the trespassing. I'm actually worried about the stormwater system, that it's not working.
Yeah, I mean,
because
you
it's
flow
all
water
sorted
onto
up
somebody else's
apparently.
property, then yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but everything is within the guidelines, but whatever we can do to make it better, we'll do.
Okay. And then, you know, going on what Jeff said, you're going to have a follow-up. You're going to have a separate meeting regarding the issues along First Avenue. Is that correct?
I mean, I was just trying to be, you know, respectful of the position he's in right now since he's at the hospital.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have an issue meeting with Jeff. We've
Okay.
had several meetings with him over the several years. But yeah, if there's an issue that we can take care of, that is our responsibility, then definitely we'll take care of it.
Okay. So in a nutshell, is there going to be an increased volume of water coming from Second to First?
John or Mike?
No.
Okay.
No, when we did this project, when we did the First and Forest project, we already accommodated the future widening, not future widening, but the future improvements on Second Avenue. So that was already accounted for when the system was designed and ultimately constructed.
Okay.
So everything has been permitted to accommodate what we consider the ultimate condition, which is now the improvements on Second Avenue.
Does that answer your question, Michael?
Not really, but
Okay.
I'll just go on to what Jeff's saying is that the residents along First Avenue are highly concerned because the study that Jeff had done says otherwise, and says that we are going to have an increased volume of water coming down here, and there's going to be runoff into the lake. We've already got an issue with it, and we know that the stormwater system that was installed a few years back does not work. It was supposed to be a French drain type system, and it's supposed to soak up all the water, and it doesn't because it's all salted up because of the sand roads.
Sir.
So
what I can
if I
offer
looked
you,
at
I'm sorry to interrupt. So what I can offer to you is, maybe we can have a meeting, Zoom or in person with the residents on First and Forest.
that would be great.
What's that?
I said that would be great. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and just, go through the project so everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
Because again, there's two sides to every story. And, we'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, great. Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
All from my side. Thanks for your time, guys.
I know, appreciate it. Thank you for coming out on Friday night, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Kathy?
Michael. Yeah, hi. Thanks, Robert. Hopefully my question is quick. If we already have city water and we're hooked up, will we have any impacts if they have to change it? Hopefully we wouldn't have to pay anything different if we're already hooked up.
I'm going to rely on Ryan a little bit on this one, but I think if you're already connected and we are doing upgrade, that you will be reconnected to that water at no additional cost because you already got your meter set. You're already connected to your home. The only thing that you may have is maybe a slight water shutdown where they're making the retap to your line.
That's correct. So when the time comes and the new main is installed and we've done all our back tees and pressure tests and chlorinates, we'll make sure to get with each individual resident. They'll have a door hanger with their address. We'll give you plenty of at least a week's notice and let you know, hey, next Tuesday from 9 till 10, your water's going to be shut off while we reconnect your new service. And there'll be a number on there, my number and my field guy's number, to where if the time that we give you does not work, just call us, let us know what time does work, and we can adjust it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I don't know how many people already have the water connection, but just wanted to check. Thank you.
Yes,
Kathy, you're welcome to come over for water.
Hey.
And another thing too is that this will increase the fire flow protection along the entire route.
As a matter of fact, I would like to offer up that if Rick, that does happen, that Rick will bring you jugs of water during that 1 hour time frame, just to make sure that you're connected and you're covered.
And John, I'll freeze them so they can melt,
Well, we did offer showers during the hurricanes because we had city water.
Oh, you saved my.
We owe you, Kathy.
You saved me during the trial. Our water was out and they let me come over and get cleaned up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love our neighbors. We got a little
We do.
village going on over here.
We do love our neighbors.
Okay, is there any additional questions? There's one from iPhone 4. Is this section of West Second tying into the system on Forest? Are you talking about the stormwater system or the potable water system, or? Stormwater. Mike or John?
Yes, it is connecting, and that's how it was always intended. Because that section from just east of Pine Street along Second Avenue, encompassing Butler and Palm and 4th Street, that is all part of the overall watershed that drains to Wasion Bay.
Will the water that is coming in there now be lessened or increased?
There will be
with this
no
project?
There will be no increase. You will remain the same. It's the same volume of water.
Thank you, sir.
We have not changed land use. We've not changed the impervious area going into the system, so the volume will remain the same.
Thank you, sir. Any additional questions?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. I'll
Been
save you
very,
sad jokes for another
very
time.
informative. Yeah, yeah, very informative. And again, thank you for all your hard work. This ain't easy. I get it.
Kitty asked, can residents have access to the plans, maybe online? I believe they're already posted. If not, we'll make sure that they are posted and you can take a look at them.
Robert, hey, just for the record, the plans are posted. I've actually sent a few residents to the link, so they are on our website, as well as this PowerPoint presentation. So if people want to look at that as well.
Yes, sir. I'm sure it's on the town website, Kitty or Richard. So if you just shoot me a quick email, I'll be more happy to send you the direct link. Oh,
Okay.
sorry, that was Kathy and Kitty.
You good?
Yeah.
You got any more questions? Okay.
Okay, thanks, guys, so much. I just
Thank you.
unmuted this.
All right, Richard, we still need to do our lunch, bud.
Okay.
Lunch
Yes, sir.
anytime. Yeah, I'm right hanging around now. I don't work too much anymore. So if you need help, I
All
can
right.
help you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, Richard.
Okay.
Don't go falling, Richard. Good grief.
All right.
No, we avoid that. We're gonna avoid that. We gotta be careful.
All right. Well, I appreciate y'all spending a Friday night with me, and we'll be posting this on the town YouTube channel, and I'll send out the links to Kitty and Kathy as far as where to find the plans. So thank you so much, and I appreciate your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Perfect.
everybody.
Have a good
Thank you.
weekend, everybody.
Have a good
All right,
weekend.
good
Thank you.
night.
Thank you.
Good night.